First up, the 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny, specifically the large date version with an S mint mark in dirty condition. You might not think that a dirty penny could hold much value, but you'd be surprised. In this video, we'll discuss why this particular 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny is so valuable, even in a condition that's seen better days, and what it's worth in today's coin market. Stick with us as we dive into the rich history, design features, and market value of this remarkable coin. First, let's talk about the history behind this unique penny. The 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny is famous for being struck during World War II, when copper, a key material used in making coins, was in short supply. To conserve copper for the war effort, the U.S. Mint made a temporary switch to using steel for the production of pennies. The result? The 1943 steel penny, which stands out from the usual copper-based Lincoln pennies. Its shiny, silvery appearance makes it easily recognizable, and it's often a favorite among coin collectors due to its historical significance. Now let's focus on the coin we're discussing today. The 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny with the S Mint mark, which means it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. The large date version of the coin is particularly noteworthy because of the size difference in the numbers of the year 1943, making it stand out from other 1943 pennies. While the penny we're looking at today is in dirty condition, its historical significance and unique features still make it highly collectible. Dirty condition doesn't mean that the coin's value disappears. It simply affects how much collectors are willing to pay. But more on that in a moment. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The inscription, "In God We Trust," runs along the top, and Liberty and 1943 are displayed as part of the design. Even in dirty condition, the features of Lincoln's face are still visible, though the surface of the coin shows signs of wear, dirt, and corrosion. Flipping the coin over to the reverse, we're reminded of the wheat stalks design, which was a common motif for Lincoln pennies from 1909 to 1958. The reverse also features the inscriptions E pluribus unum at the top and 1 cent at the bottom, with the familiar wheat stalks flanking the sides. Despite the dirt, the design is still relatively clear, and you can make out the shape of the wheat stalks and the overall structure of the coin. So how many of these 1943 Lincoln Steel pennies were minted? In total, approximately 191 million steel pennies were struck in 1943, and of those, 22 million were made at the San Francisco Mint, which is where our S Mint mark comes in. While these coins are relatively common in terms of mintage, the S Mint mark does add a layer of rarity compared to the other minting locations. In today's market, a 1943 Lincoln Steel penny with an S Mint mark in dirty condition typically holds a value of around $100,000. This might not sound like much compared to other more pristine examples, but when you consider that 1943 steel pennies are a key date in coin collecting, even a dirty coin like this can be of interest to collectors. The value fluctuates based on factors like collector demand, auction prices, and the rarity of the coin in certain conditions. While coins in fine condition or uncirculated grades can be worth much more, this dirty version still holds its own in the market. It's also important to note that this coin's historical context, being produced during World War II, adds to its appeal. If you happen to have a 1943 steel penny in your collection, it's important to handle it with care. While this coin is in dirty condition, it's best to store it in a way that protects it from further wear and dirt. A coin holder or slab is a great way to keep it safe. One thing to note, cleaning your coin is generally not recommended, as it can reduce its value. The dirt on this penny is part of its story, and removing it can cause damage that detracts from the coin's charm. If your coin is particularly grimy, you can consult a professional coin conservator to see if any restoration or preservation is possible without compromising the coin's value. Next up, the 1943 Lincoln Steel penny with D Mint mark and the large date. Known for its historical significance and unique features, this coin continues to attract collectors and investors alike. If you've ever wondered about the value of this penny in today's market, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll break down the fascinating history, design, and current market value of the 1943 Lincoln steel penny with a D mint mark in fine condition. So, stick around as we uncover why this penny is a must-have for collectors and how much it's worth in today's auctions. Let's start with some background. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny was minted during one of the most challenging times in U.S. history, World War II. During this time, copper was in short supply due to wartime needs, so the U.S. Mint made a temporary shift to producing pennies with steel instead of copper. This shift led to the creation of the steel penny, a coin that's now instantly recognizable because of its shiny, silver-like appearance. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny became one of the most unique coins ever produced, and its large date version, in particular, is highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the 1943 Lincoln steel penny we're focusing on today. This particular penny features the large date, which refers to the distinctive oversized digits in the year 1943. It was produced at the Denver Mint, and as indicated by the D Mint mark, it adds an additional layer of rarity to the coin. The large date version is prized by collectors for its distinct look, and the D Mint mark further elevates its value. But what about the condition? Well, this penny is in fine condition, which means it shows signs of wear but retains enough details to be recognizable and valuable. On the obverse, we have the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust Liberty," and the large date of 1943 are all visible, though slightly worn in the case of this fine condition coin. Despite the wear, Lincoln's image remains clear and easily identifiable, making this penny a true piece of history. Flipping the coin over, we see the reverse side, which features the famous wheat stalks design. This was the standard reverse for Lincoln pennies from 1909 to 1958, designed by Victor David Brenner as well. The inscriptions on the reverse include E pluribus unum at the top and 1 cent at the bottom, with the wheat stalks on either side. Despite the coin's fine condition, the details of the wheat stalks remain quite visible, adding to the coin's appeal. Now, let's talk about the mintage. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny with D Mint mark was produced at the Denver Mint, where about 191 million steel pennies were struck in total that year. Out of those, approximately 20 million were minted with the D Mint mark. While this is still a large number, the D Mint mark version is less common than the Philadelphia no mint mark version, making it more desirable to collectors. So how much is a 1943 Lincoln steel penny with a D Mint mark in fine condition worth today? In today's market, coins in fine condition typically sell for around $86,000 at auction, depending on factors like demand and overall collector interest. While this may seem like a modest amount, it's important to remember that the historical significance and rarity of the large date with D Mint mark version elevate its value among collectors. If you're lucky enough to have a 1943 Lincoln steel penny with a D Mint mark in your collection, it's important to handle it with care. Even coins in fine condition can deteriorate if not stored properly. Using a coin holder or slab will help protect your investment and keep the coin in the best possible shape. And a quick tip for collectors: never clean your coins. Cleaning can damage the surface of the coin, which will lower its value. If you ever need to restore or preserve your coin, it's best to consult a professional coin conservator to ensure that it doesn't lose its value. Next up, the most significant coins in U.S. history, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel penny with the large date and no mint mark. This particular penny is not just a piece of currency, it's a symbol of a challenging era in American history. Today, we're going to explore what makes this coin so valuable, especially in good condition, and what it's worth in the current market. So, let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1943 Lincoln steel penny and discover its true value today. To truly understand why the 1943 Lincoln steel penny is so special, we need to step back in time to 1943. During World War II, the U.S. was facing a severe shortage of copper. To conserve this precious metal for the war effort, the U.S. Mint made a significant change. They decided to produce the penny using steel instead of the usual copper. This move resulted in the creation of the famous steel penny, which would become one of the most recognizable coins in American numismatic history. Now let's zoom in on the coin itself. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny is unique because of its large date. The digits in the year 1943 are noticeably larger than the standard size used on other pennies. This large date variety was produced by the Philadelphia Mint and was specifically created during a short period of time, making it rarer than other coins minted in the same year. On the obverse of this coin, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has remained a cornerstone of the Lincoln penny series for over a century. Here, Lincoln's image is clearly visible despite the good condition of the coin, showing some wear but still retaining enough detail to be easily recognizable. Now, flipping the coin over, we get a glimpse of the reverse side, which features the iconic wheat stalks design. This reverse was designed by Brenner and was used on Lincoln pennies from 1909 to 1958. It shows 2 stalks of wheat, with the inscriptions E pluribus unum at the top and 1 cent at the bottom. Despite the coin's good condition, the details of the wheat stalks are still visible, making this coin a beautiful example of early 20th century American design. Let's talk about the mintage numbers for the 1943 Lincoln steel penny. In total, over 1 billion steel pennies were produced in 1943. However, the large date variety with no mint mark is particularly significant. This variety was minted in Philadelphia, and there was no mint mark on the coin to indicate its place of production. Out of the billions struck, the large date version is relatively rare and remains highly sought after by collectors today. So what is the value of a 1943 Lincoln steel penny in good condition today? Well, in the current coin market, a good condition version of this penny typically sells for between $95,000 in most auctions. While this may not seem like a huge amount, it's important to remember that the historical significance, the large date variety, and the steel composition all add a certain level of rarity and collector appeal.